Greetings, fellow seekers of the unknown. Tonight I have a bone-chilling tale to share with you, one that will send shivers down your spine and leave you questioning the very essence of your reality. Story 1. Gather around. Let me tell you about an eerie experience I had not too long ago. It was a camping gone wrong, and the memory of that night still sends shivers down my spine. It was a crisp autumn evening when my friends and I decided to embark on a camping adventure deep within the secluded woods. Excitement filled the air as we set up our tents, gathered around the crackling campfire, and shared ghost stories that made us jump at every rustle of leaves. As the night wore on, a strange feeling of unease settled upon us. The once lively forest seemed to grow eerily silent, as if nature itself was holding its breath. But we brushed it off, attributing it to our vivid imaginations, fueled by the chilling tales we had exchanged. However, our laughter and camaraderie couldn't keep the unsettling sensation at bay. The fire's warm glow, which had initially provided comfort, now cast dancing shadows that seemed to take on haunting shapes. Each flicker of light made me wonder if something was lurking just beyond the fire's reach. Then, out of nowhere, a low, guttural growl resonated through the woods. We froze, exchanging nervous glances. Our laughter was replaced with a tense silence, broken only by the crackling of embers. A rustling noise came from the trees behind us, causing us to whip around in unison. But there was nothing there, just darkness and a feeling of being watched. My heart pounded in my chest, and I tried to convince myself it was merely an animal or the wind playing tricks on us. However, the unease was palpable, and an inexplicable dread crept over us. Suddenly, we heard heavy footsteps approaching our campsite. They were slow and deliberate, like someone stalking their prey. Panic set in, and we huddled closer together, fear etched on our faces. I clutched a nearby stick, hoping it would somehow provide protection against the unknown. The footsteps drew closer, and with each passing moment, our hearts pounded louder in our ears. Just when it felt like the night couldn't get any darker, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was tall, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. My breath caught in my throat, and I could feel the icy grip of fear tightening around me. But then, the figure stepped into the firelight, revealing itself to be nothing more than a fellow camper who had lost their way in the woods. Relief washed over us, and we laughed nervously at our own fear. As we exchanged stories, the woods regained their usual ambience, and the unease dissipated. But that night had left an indelible mark on us, an encounter with fear in the heart of the wilderness. So, my friends, beware the unknown when venturing into the depths of nature. For even the most innocent of sounds can turn a camping trip into a haunting experience, one that forever lingers in your memories around the campfire. Story 2. It was a camping trip, a seemingly innocent adventure that turned into a nightmarish encounter with the unknown. The sun had begun to set as my friends and I set up camp in the heart of a dense, ancient forest. The towering trees loomed overhead, casting eerie shadows that danced in the fading light. Excitement filled the air as we gathered around the crackling campfire, eager to create memories that would last a lifetime. As nightfall descended upon us, the forest took on a different energy. The once familiar rustling of leaves now seemed ominous, and the gentle whisper of the wind carried a haunting melody. But we brushed off our unease, attributing it to the thrill of being in the wild. But then, as we huddled together, our laughter and chatter ceased abruptly. An inexplicable hush fell over our camp, and an eerie sensation washed over me, like the forest itself was holding its breath. It was then that we heard it, a distant sound that sent chills down our spines. It started as a low murmur, like someone whispering in the shadows. We strained our ears, trying to make sense of the haunting melody that filled the night air. Fear gnawed at the edges of our brave facade, but we couldn't resist the urge to investigate. Armed with flashlights, we ventured deeper into the woods, the rustling leaves now sounding like sinister footsteps following us. The forest seemed to swallow us whole, and the once familiar trails now twisted and turned, leading us into the heart of darkness. Our heartbeats echoed in our ears, a constant reminder of the fear that gripped us. Then, amidst the silence, a figure appeared from the shadows, a haunting silhouette with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through our very souls. Panic surged through us, and we stumbled backward, our instincts urging us to flee. But as we turned to run, an unseen force seemed to hold us in place, roots of ancient trees entwining our feet. It was as if the forest itself refused to let us escape, trapping us in its malevolent grip. The figure drew nearer, its presence suffocating, and a chorus of chilling whispers surrounded us. We pleaded with the darkness to release us, but our words fell on deaf ears. The forest seemed to feed on our fear, relishing in our terror. With each passing moment, the woods grew darker, the shadows more menacing, and the whispers more oppressive. We were caught in a nightmarish dance between reality and nightmare, unable to distinguish one from the other. Time lost its meaning, and we couldn't tell if we had been in that haunting forest for minutes or hours. The figure drew closer, its glowing eyes locking onto each of us with an unyielding gaze. And just when we thought we could bear it no longer, the figure vanished, melting back into the depths of the forest. The whispers subsided, and the grip on our feet released, allowing us to break free. Breathless and trembling, we stumbled back to our campsite, vowing never to return to that accursed place. The forest had shown us a glimpse of its malevolent secrets, leaving us forever changed by the encounter. Now, whenever I find myself in the woods, I can't help but feel a chill down my spine, a haunting reminder of the night we crossed paths with something beyond our understanding. So, my friends, be cautious in your wanderings, for the woods hold mysteries that we may never comprehend. And remember, even in the comfort of this campfire, the shadows may still be watching, waiting for the chance to ensnare unsuspecting souls in their dark embrace. Story 3. Let me tell you about that one time we went on a camping trip, and all hell broke loose. It was a camping trip like any other, or so we thought. Little did we know that the wilderness had something sinister in store for us. We set out with excitement, eager to escape the hustle of city life and immerse ourselves in nature's embrace. The campground was serene, surrounded by tall trees that swayed gently in the breeze. We laughed and joked as we pitched our tents, blissfully unaware of the darkness that awaited us. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest transformed into an enigmatic realm. The campfire crackled, casting an eerie glow on our faces. We shared ghost stories, trying to scare each other, but none of those tales could have prepared us for what was about to unfold. It started innocently enough, a rustling in the bushes, dismissed as a curious critter exploring our campsite. But soon, strange things began to happen. Items went missing, only to reappear in unexpected places. We brushed it off as forgetfulness, attributing it to the excitement of the trip. But as the night wore on, an unsettling feeling gripped us. Shadows danced beyond the reach of our flickering fire, and the forest seemed to draw closer, suffocating us with an oppressive silence. The wilderness that once felt inviting now exuded an unsettling aura. It was then that we heard it, a distant chant that sent chills down our spines. At first, we thought it was our imagination playing tricks, but the rhythmic voices grew louder, their haunting melody echoing through the trees. Fear began to gnaw at us, but curiosity urged us to follow the sound. Armed with flashlights, we ventured into the darkness, our hearts pounding in our chests. The forest swallowed us whole, and each step seemed to take us deeper into the unknown. As we approached the source of the chanting, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy. Our flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced in unison with the haunting chorus. We were not alone, and the forest seemed to be alive with unseen eyes. In the heart of the woods, we stumbled upon a clearing illuminated by the pale glow of the moon. In the center, a group of cloaked figures stood in a circle, their faces hidden by darkness. They chanted in a language unfamiliar to us, their voices invoking something ancient and malevolent. Fear rooted us to the spot, unable to tear our eyes away from the unnerving scene. As if sensing our presence, the figures turned their heads and their eyes, glowing with an unearthly intensity, locked onto ours. Time seemed to stand still as the forest held its breath. In that surreal moment, all hell broke loose. The figures lunged towards us, their movements swift and unnatural. We ran, our hearts pounding, the haunting chant echoing in our ears. The forest seemed to come alive, branches reaching out like gnarled fingers, trying to ensnare us. With every step, the woods twisted and turned, disorienting us. Fear clung to us like a suffocating shroud, but we couldn't stop running. We had intruded upon something beyond our understanding, something that should never have been disturbed. Finally, we burst out of the woods, our breaths ragged, and the chanting faded into the distance. The campground that once felt like a sanctuary now seemed tainted by an ancient malevolence. We packed up our belongings, leaving that cursed place behind, vowing never to speak of it again. But the memory of that night haunts us, a chilling reminder that the wilderness is not always what it seems. It holds secrets, dark and enigmatic, that can forever alter the course of our lives. So, my friends, be wary when you venture into the unknown, for there are things in this world that should remain undisturbed. And remember, the forest has eyes and ears of its own, watching, waiting for those who dare to tread too far into its depths. Thank you for joining me on this spine-chilling journey through the depths of the Nightmare Archives. If you enjoyed this eerie tale, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another hair-raising story. Remember, the darkness holds many secrets, and the Nightmare Archives is where nightmares come to life. Join our community of brave souls who dare to confront the unknown as we delve deeper into the realm of real-life hauntings and terrifying encounters. If you have your own creepy stories to share or want to suggest a topic for our next video, leave a comment below. I love hearing from you, and your input helps shape the terrifying tales we explore together. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow horror enthusiasts, spreading the spine-tingling fear to every corner of the world. Until next time, my fearless friends, keep your lanterns lit, your senses sharp, and your courage unwavering as we continue to unravel the darkest mysteries lurking within the Nightmare Archives. Stay haunted!